Who got the juice? The Dallas Juice Boys got the juice, and you can get it too. Visit naturallemonade.com with one L, or catch the Dallas Juice Boys food truck at a live event near you. Taste what the fuss is all about. Mango, pineapple, strawberry, and of course, what started it all off, the original. To get the juice, visit naturallemonade.com with one L and support some young Dallas entrepreneurs. Yeah. Here at Maximus Security Services, our goal is to establish secure homes for our clients based on honesty, integrity, and fair pricing. Maximus Security Services specializes in home and business alarm repair services in the DFW Metroplex. Save up to 70% by repairing or updating your current system and avoid signing outrageous 3-year contracts with monthly payments that could cost up to $1,500. Remember, here at Maximus Security Services, there will be no 3-year contract required for our services. I repeat, no contract for our services. At Maximum Security Services, we repair systems from Ring, DSC, MDENCO, GE, NAPCO, 2GIG, and all monitoring systems. To speak to one of our top-of-the-line Maximus Security System technicians, call 214-377-0342. Our technicians have been rated 4.9 out of 5 stars by our Home Advisor clients. Call today, 214-377-0342. Maximus Security Services, honesty, integrity, fair pricing, no credit check or credit required, and absolutely no hassle about monitoring. To speak with one of our technicians, call 214-377-0342. Did you have a nightmare prom? Were you forced to go to the prom with someone you didn't even like? Were you forced to be home by midnight because your dad was too strict? Well, now it's time for the prom. The adult experience. It all goes down May 20th, Saturday, the Warehouse in Fort Worth, Texas, 1125 East Berry Street. Fort Worth is going to be on fire with the international Go DJ Bilotti and the legendary group Soulful Sounds. And it's all hosted by me, Michael Sean, and my girl, the queen of Media Room 360, Shawnee Scott. To get your tickets now, when I do mean now, hit up eventcrate.com/E/Reprom 2023. It starts at 8 o'clock and the open bar is open till 9 p.m. Once again, I repeat, the open bar is an open bar from 8 to 9 p.m. And since I'm hosting, there's probably going to be a free comedy show. So get your tickets now for the Reprom, the adult experience, May 20th. That's a Saturday at the Warehouse, 1125 East Berry Street in Fort Worth, Texas. You're going to get to rewrite your own history. May 20th at the Warehouse. Just go to eventcreate.com/E/Reprom 2023. It's an Allure Gala Productions. And it's hosted by Michael Sean and Shawnee Scott. Yeah.
All right, make sure y'all get those tickets for the Reprom that is happening May 20th in Fort Worth. You can get your tickets. But welcome to this installment of Shawnee Scott on Air. And today is Fentanyl Awareness Day, if you didn't know. We decided at Media Room that we wanted to take some time out and focus on this because this is a national public health crisis. Now, people, especially young people, are ingesting this illicitly manufactured drug without knowing, and they're dying at these crazy rates. Fentanyl, if you didn't know, is very cheap and it's extremely addictive. Drug dealers are dangerously mixing illicit manufactured fentanyl with all kinds of things like Oxy, Percocet, Xanax. They're even putting it on Skittles. And this is how a lot of the young kids are ingesting it. And some parents have been known to find their children dead in their room. It's also been found to be a party drug that they add with cocaine. Now, this is the thing about it. Once you add fentanyl to the mix, you don't know which mix will kill. And it only takes about 2 milligrams of it. That's like 2 grains of salt or 2 grains of sand, and that can kill you. So today here on Media Room 360 and Shawnee Scott on Air, we're going to take some time and learn more about fentanyl, learn more about fentanyl strips that can help prevent, and learn other ways and things that you can do to not only educate yourself, but to educate kids or young people around you on the dangers of this drug. We'll have Dwayla Howard, who is an education specialist for Media Room 360 on, along with American Gangsters Perrion Roberts of BET Plus. So you guys stay right here. When we come back, those ladies will be with me, and we're going to jump right into the conversation. And here we all are on Fentanyl Awareness Day. To the, I guess, let's see, that's to the left of me on screen is Miss Perrion Roberts. You've probably seen her face in a lot of places now because, yes, she was on season 2 of BET's American Gangster Trap Queens. She also has a book out. She is an author. She is a serial entrepreneur. I saw the luggage that she has coming out. So if you guys are travelers, then you definitely want to make sure you keep up with Perrion Roberts because I got to get a whole set of that luggage. And she's also a lady that has accomplished something that no one in the nation has ever accomplished in life. And she probably will be the only person ever to do this. But I'm gonna let her talk about that in a minute. And then on the other side of her is Miss Dwayla Howard, our education specialist here for Media Room 360. She's been in the education field well over 20 years, serving roles as teacher, principal, assistant principal, and a whole bunch of other positions that she held as well. I can't remember all of her positions. And the other thing about Miss Dwayla is that's my best friend since 3rd grade. So welcome, ladies. Thank you guys for joining me on this this special day, National Fentanyl Awareness Day. I never thought that it would come to this, but we have to have a day about this to talk about it because of so many deaths that have occurred from this. I'm going to start with you, Perrion. When you started hearing the stories about fentanyl and the deaths that the kids were having, something moved in you to decide to start a campaign to help with this situation. Can you describe to us or explain to us what your campaign with the fentanyl strips is about?
Yes, because of the rapid deaths, because in the United States, there are more people under 50 that is dying from fentanyl, and so they're at a rapid pace. There's no community that it's not hitting. It's hitting everywhere. The rural, the upper class, the middle class, everybody. There's nobody safe from this deadly drug, and it really touched home when a friend of mine, her daughter passed away from fentanyl overdose, which I've had 3 friends who lost children from it. But I actually was around this little girl. She was a grown woman, but she was a little girl ever since she was around 3 years old. And so it really hurt. It really touched home about how dangerous this drug is. So I started researching it because I knew nothing about it. True enough, I sold drugs, but we didn't have this type of drug when I was selling drugs. So I researched and I've found that it started in China. In one of their labs, they made chemical of it. China after they finished making the chemical, they sent it to Mexico. Mexico then starts making it lethal by putting it in things like what's going to attract Americans to make it look like candy. They're putting it all. They're spraying marijuana now with it, with the fentanyl, and then of course making it those fake oxycontin and oxycodone and the Xanax. That's what most of these young kids was doing, and so that's what they're putting in. So they're killing our kids rapidly, and so I wanted to know. They said that the government has now allowed Narcan to be legal At first, it wasn't only EMT or someone like that could have it. Well, if a person overdose and they only have, I think they said 30 seconds or so um, before you need to administer it, or they'll die. So that's good if somebody's there to administer it. But when there's nobody there, then what? Then the person dies. So I was thinking, is it a preventative first? And so there is, but they're not telling no one. And that preventative is fentanyl test strips. So if a person is allowed to test the drugs before they use it, then the burden lies on that person if they continue to use it and they know fentanyl is in it. And as well, maybe a person that sells drugs say, well, I don't, I want to sell drugs, but I don't want to kill nobody. So if you have the test strips or you could test it, then maybe we can slow down the deaths, because then people won't be selling it because they know it's in it, so they won't sell it. Well, they'll know it's in it before they buy it, and it's not to promote drug selling or drug use, but it's to save some lives. If we can save a life, then therefore we can get them the help. But if they overdose and they die, how can you help a dead person?
So
a person that has already overdosed? So let's stop it at the top. If we kill the head, then the tail will die. So we have to stop it at the top, and then we can work with trying to save some of these kids' lives that are dying.
So you want to present an opportunity to make it safe and then be able to reform them.
Exactly. And the only way we're going to be able to do that, because the fentanyl strips are illegal, and they're legal in only 21 states in America, and they're illegal in the rest of the states. So everybody need to get with their congressperson and let's make it legal. Let's make fentanyl strips legal, just like you did the Narcan. If you can make it legal after the fact, you can make it legal before the fact. And so, but that's going to take a collective of people, more than just you and I, and I forgot your name, but Dwayne, yeah. So it's going to take more than just us three. It's going to take a village. It's going to take everybody, people that has lost kids due to fentanyl. People, you have cousins, brothers, uncles, daddies, everybody, that it has effect, and it's affecting everybody. Sooner or later, everybody in America is going to have someone in their family that has been struck by this lethal drug, because that's how fast they're dying, and that's how fast it's getting into the communities. So
how do you handle the backlash when you present this to people, when you say, hey, let's work on getting the fentanyl strips legal everywhere? How do you handle the backlash? Because as you stated, people of course going to say, oh, well, you're promoting drug use.
And I tell them, I'm not promoting drug use. I'm trying to save some lives, because people are going to do what they want to do anyway. People have been doing drugs ever since the beginning of time. So you can't stop a person from doing what they want to do, but at least you can make it safe. You can put the ball in their court. So therefore, if they have the opportunity to test it, and they've tested it, and they still want to do it, then the burden doesn't lie on you, I, or the state, or anyone. It lies on that person, because we all have choices. We all have our own choices. But let's at least give them the opportunity to say, hey, well, I like doing the drug, but I don't want to do fentanyl. Okay, well, let's make sure that it's nothing in what you're doing, and then therefore you can get that person some help, because they're still alive to be able to live another day for you to help that person. But right. If they don't know and they do it, because it kills them on the spot. It is like, you have no time to think about, what are you going to do? It throws them straight into a coma, and some of them don't come out of that coma, and some of them die. 90% of them die. So that's how I handle it. I just tell them, hey, I'd rather save their life and then give them and help them, and not worry about if they're going to do the drugs, because they're going to do drugs anyway. I can't stop from doing the drugs, but at least I can keep them alive to make a decision that they don't want to do that no more,
To get the help that they need. Now,
to
the
get
way
the help that they need.
you're in the school district, you're with students every day. This is what you've done for over the last 20 years. Can you speak on what you've seen, or have you seen any fentanyl cases in any of the schools or with any of the students that you've worked with?
It hasn't hit anywhere I have been yet. Hopefully it won't. But I do have colleagues of mine who, they may be counselors. They're grief, they go in on the crisis team, grief counseling, because one of the students, the kids go home on Friday, come back on Monday, and they've lost a classmate. You also see where, they have a cousin, or like Perrion is saying, somebody has a daughter, somebody has a cousin, somebody has a sister, somebody has their neighbor has lost someone. And it affects you even if you don't directly know the person, because it's like, wait a minute, they were just here. Like, and then it's compounded, especially with our kids, because a lot of times people don't know that these kids are doing drugs. They come to school, they're in activities, they're athletes, they're in the band, they're in clubs, and you see them every day, you see them performing, all of this, you see them at dances, all of that. And then next thing you know, you look up and it's like, what do you mean they're dead? Dead how? Drugs? What do you mean they're doing drugs? Was it the first? And then it's then a backtracking of, well, was it the first time they did drugs? Have they been doing drugs? How long have they been doing drugs? Did anybody know? Was it reported to? Like, it's all of these questions that are left. And you have parents, teachers, friends, the community trying to pick up the pieces and figure out, okay, is this an isolated incident, or do we have a drug problem in our school? Is it just isolated to our school, or is it all the schools, or is it the school and the community, or it's a snowball effect of questions that have to be answered. And most parents, most teachers, most counselors, they don't understand the drug. They don't know. They're like, yeah, you hear about it, but they don't know how deadly it is. They don't know how easily accessible it is to kids. And so that is the reality that we're living in. I mean, just like this awareness day, it's unfortunate that we have to have it, but it's good that, like, just this week, between this week and last week, I've seen 5 or 6 events advertised on Facebook, Instagram, different social media platforms, or on the news, having forums where people can get information, because parents don't know, teachers don't know, a lot of people don't know. They don't understand the drug. And when you don't understand something, you're more susceptible to be affected by it because you don't understand it.
Now, Dwayla, can you speak to any steps or programs or processes that are being put in place in schools to help to notice if a kid is possibly using drugs? Because my understanding with the fentanyl, if that gets into their system, they can die immediately, as Perrion said, or they may not. So, are there any steps, procedures that are put in place in schools for teachers, administrators, counselors to take in the event that they notice something off with any of the students?
So one of the best things right now is that the FDA did recently approve the Narcan. So a lot of schools, especially those districts who have experienced deaths from their students, be it at school, at home, things like that, the school nurse is now allowed to have Narcan at the school. And so if, let's say, for instance, there's a student in the classroom, they're sleepy, they're drowsy, you can't wake them up. And the kids, and a lot of times these kids know who's doing what. Unfortunately, they know who's doing what. They may not partake, but it's like, oh no, he was doing some of those Skittles. And it's like, what do you mean some of those Skittles? What are those Skittles? The ones, that they got from that man around the corner. And they don't directly want to say, because they don't want to, for one, they don't want to out themselves, and then they don't want to out their friends. But a lot of times when it comes to, okay, we can't wake this person up, they're, just passed out, slumped over, falling out, things like that, then they will tell, because they don't want to see their friend die. So it becomes a choice of, okay, I got to tell them enough information to get them help. And a lot of times they may take them to the nurse themselves. Oddly enough, if they go to the bathroom, or they see them walking down the hall or something, it's like, okay, wait a minute, you did too much, let me get you to the nurse. And they will take them to the nurse, and the nurse can then have the Narcan there, administer the Narcan, call 911 to get the paramedics out to further assist them. So I mean, for me, I'm glad the FDA did that. Most parents and a lot of school districts didn't even know that the FDA approved it to be able to be bought. Most drug users didn't know. You can go to your pharmacy and buy your Narcan. If you know you are a drug user and you know that your drug could be laced with fentanyl, you need to have Narcan. If you hang out with drug users, you need to have Narcan, because you never know when someone around you could have, some fentanyl in what they're taking.
Now, I'm sorry to cut you off, but does it only work on fentanyl? Because you said you gave a scenario of a student being drowsy or not being able to, what if they don't have fentanyl in their system and Narcan is administered? How does that then affect the student or the person?
I'm not sure if it only works on fentanyl. To me, that's a first step preventative, because you don't know what the kid may have taken. And because fentanyl is so deadly, for me as a parent, I would want the first course of action is for you to try that. Because most other drugs, if they're taking Oxy, if they're taking Percocet, something like that, they usually just take one and they're out of it, but they're not gonna die. But Narcan, you're gonna die if somebody doesn't do something. And so, it may come to there being a drug protocol. Unfortunately, that's the times we live in where, certain symptoms that they may be exhibiting, that is the first course of action to ensure, because they could have snorted coke. I mean, I've been in situations in schools where, you catch kids in the bathroom snorting coke. Well, a snort of coke isn't going to kill them, but a snort of coke with fentanyl could. And so it's like you don't know one way or the other. So it could be that there may be a need to, if you catch students doing drugs or know that they have ingested drugs, and you're not sure, that could be a first course of action, depending on what symptoms that they're exhibiting.
All right. Well, if you're just joining us, we are talking about fentanyl, because today is Fentanyl Awareness Day. And if you don't know what fentanyl is, it is a potent synthetic opioid. It is up to 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. And just a few grains of it, like 2 grains, can cause death. It's synthetic. It's not plant-based. It's made in a lab. And the opioid part is a pain reliever like oxycodone, morphine, and heroin. Now, there's 2 types of fentanyl, and I didn't know this. There is a medical grade that is prescribed by a doctor, and then there's the street. There's the street one. So I know from my hospital stays, if they came in there and said, we're going to give you this fentanyl, I probably would have had a fit. Because I'm like, no, y'all trying to kill me. You're trying to kill me. But there are some differences in the two, and I'm going to put this up here. Let's see if we can see this. So you have medical fentanyl, you have the illegally made fentanyl. With medical fentanyl, it's made in a sterile factory. It can be carefully blended. The dose is precise and consistent. It's carefully administered by doctors. It's legitimate for medical uses, and death is uncommon when it's taken as prescribed by a doctor. Now, on the flip side, the street fentanyl is made in unsanitary conditions. It's not carefully blended. They just throw it all in there. The dose is random, so you don't know what you're getting in each one. It's hidden in the drug supply. It increases the drug dealers' profits, and it's involved in majority of the U.S. drug deaths in the recent years. So what if somebody, and then I guess when they come to school, they have to bring notes of the medication that they have to bring. But kids sometimes bring, if they're junior high school, I would think that they might just bring whatever they have to school. So if they have the medical fentanyl, as it's saying here, do doctors, well, first let me ask this question. Do they prescribe it and you get it from the pharmacy, or is it only administered in the hospital?
So it would be considered a narcotic. Anything that is considered a narcotic, for one, you have to have a prescription from the pharmacist and from your doctor to the pharmacist. And they also limit how much you can get, just like oxycodone, just like any other narcotic. You can only have so much within a certain amount of time. The other thing with dosing something, like a narcotic as this, if a child has to have it, let's say, they've sustained a really bad injury, like they were in a really bad car accident or something like that, usually that student would have to stay home because something like a narcotic, most schools don't like, especially school nurses, don't like to be responsible for that type of medication. Now, you do have other medications, like you may have a student that has ADHD or has oppositional defiance disorder, ODD, bipolar, and the medication that they are prescribed could also be in the narcotic class. And so that medication has to go from parent to the nurse, and then there's certain documentation that has to be completed so that the student can receive their dosing at school. But that's why, school nurses, having a registered school nurse is so important, because you do have, instances where students may need a narcotic within the school day. And so that has to be given to the school nurse. There's a, particular paperwork and procedures they have to follow with the dosing and all of that. So it's not just like, kids carrying Tylenol in their pocket.
Well, that's what I was getting to.
Right.
It just brings it to school.
Now they could, they very well could. Like, we know kids have Tylenol, they have, Motrin, girls carry Motrin, things like that. If a kid went to the dentist, okay, I got to, take my pain pill because I went to the dentist, had my teeth pulled 2-3 days ago. So it could happen. And that is how some of these overdoses could occur, is because a student, may have, like I said, been in a car accident or something. They had they had the patch, the peel, something like that, and they took it to school to share it.
We got David from Cedar Hill checking in. He has a question. What is fentanyl used for? Either one of you ladies can answer that question.
It's usually used for doing surgery, for when they give you anesthesia, and then they would administer it. Or if a person that, say for instance, a person that has rheumatoid arthritis, they will prescribe fentanyl but it's a prescribed fentanyl. And most of the time, it's fentanyl patches. Um, and they can overdose on that too, because I know a lady lived up the street from me. She overdosed on fentanyl patches. She put too many on because she was so used to taking opiates and taking, she would take about 10, 15, or 20 of them. And the doctor took her off the pills and put her on the fentanyl patches. And she thought she needed more patches because she had took so many pills. And so she put too many patches on and it killed her. So that could kill you too. I mean, even though it's prescribed, you can overdose on it as well. And to answer your question about when you said can fentanyl, can Narcan work for any other type of drug, the answer to that is no. It only is for Oxycontin or fentanyl and methadone, stuff like that. And it doesn't work for cocaine or alcohol or anything like that. So it would be no need to use it because it's not going to do any good for those type of overdoses.
David has one more question, and I really don't know the answer to this. Now, David, understand we're not doctors here. No one is a doctor, but
disclaimer: we are not medical doctors.
Right.
Okay. Is fentanyl good for COVID? Was fentanyl used for COVID?
No, because it's for severe pain. A person that has chronic pain, and COVID does not consider a chronic pain.
Yeah. I was gonna say I don't recall them giving me
no.
that. I had COVID and was in the hospital, and I don't recall fentanyl being on the list. Now, Dwayla, you put together an interesting curriculum. You put together a fentanyl simulator that we actually performed in DeSoto, Texas, a couple of weeks, well, last month, I believe it was. Can you share with us where the information that you put in and what the purpose of the simulator was, the fentanyl simulator was?
So I I got the idea from a poverty simulator. Many people are familiar with, you get a certain amount of money, you have a certain level of education, and you have to go through different stations that represent the grocery store, trying to find housing, trying to get transportation, trying to get insurance, things like that. And the poverty simulator is set up to help people understand how hard it is to live if you're limited in the amount of money and education you have in the world. And so I took the poverty simulator and I modified it, because during the poverty simulator, you pick a chance card. The chance card could be, it's your birthday, you get $25. Or you broke a window in your home and you don't have homeowners insurance, so you have to pay $500 to get your window replaced. And you don't know how much money you're going to have when those chance cards come up. And so I modified it to where when you pull a chance card, you may go to a party and someone spikes your drink with fentanyl and you end up dying. Or you could be at school and your friend is eating some candy. And so you say, hey, let me have some of those Skittles. And they give you some and you pass out in the classroom and they have to rush you to the nurse so that she can administer Narcan to you. And you live, but you end up with a $500 hospital bill and miss 6 days of school. So the chance cards throughout the simulator, you're going through everyday life as a normal person, but you take a chance every time you go to a party, you go to school, you are out somewhere and you're hit by someone who's high and driving, and you don't have car insurance or health insurance. So it helped the students, and so we had students and we had parents playing the game, and it helped them. It was really funny because you get different perspectives. The students were like, wait a minute, this could be real. And it's like, yes, it absolutely could be real.
That's right.
It absolutely could be real because the scenarios were things that they do. And so it was eye-opening to them because they were like, once they pick that card where they're at the party, they drink the drink and they're dead, they're out of the game. They had to go stand in the middle because they're dead. You don't exist anymore. And they're looking at their friends like, wait a minute, why they keep going? That means I'm dead. Yes, that means you're dead. You're no longer here. And then on the flip side with the parents, they've experienced life. They've experienced, hard times, not having money, ups and downs. But even for them, some of them, it was like, no, wait a minute. I don't want to make that choice. I wouldn't have chosen that. You never know what your life circumstances will deal you. And it could take one insignificant choice that you think is like won't hurt you, and it could alter the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the parents were, kind of like, wow. Like I had one lady, she was like, this could have really happened to me. Like I really did go to a party. I really did smoke with somebody and have to leave the party, but I didn't drive. Someone else drove me and they had an accident.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, then they get a DUI and they go to jail and it's their third time. So they have to stay in jail. And you've lost your friend, you have to pay, for your part in that. So it was eye opening to the kids, and then it was so real to the adults. They continued the conversation with their teenagers because some of them didn't know how deadly it was. Some of them didn't realize it's so prevalent. They didn't know parents are finding their kids dead in the room, not knowing what happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're interested in booking that simulator along with, you would get Miss Howard, myself, and Perrion. All you have to do is email us at info@mediaroom360.com, and we can give you the rates and figure out when and where you'd like to do it. That's if you'd like to set that up, or even if you wanted to book Perrion Roberts, just email us at info@mediaroom360.com. Now, Perrion, let's go back to you. With the campaign to get the fentanyl strips legal in all states, what is the next step that you're taking to get there, and how far are you in the process?
Well, the next step is to get a congressperson that is willing to write the bill, because it has to be a bill that they will take to have the law change, or to have it amended, because that's the next step. And so that's what I'm working on now, is to get a congressperson involved in order to let's make this happen, because that's what we have to do to get it done. To change the laws, we have to have somebody that's willing to write the bill and to present it so that they can vote on it and change the law.
And what do you need from the public to help you make this happen?
Well, we need the public to call the person who's ever in their district, and and get somebody involved, and then reach out to us from MediaCom, and let us know what state, where you at, and so that we can jump in and help. Let's push this and get everybody on board with getting this passed in all 50 states.
Now, when they reach out to the congressperson, what is it that they specifically need to say to get them to understand exactly what it is that we're trying to do?
They need to let them know that they know that the fentanyl strips exist, and that they know that they are illegal in their state, and they want they want to get the law passed in order for that the fentanyl strips can be bought in stores. They only $1. So it's not like they're very expensive, but they need to let them know that they know that the law in their state says that it is illegal. It is considered a paraphernalia. And so we want to get that changed. And just like they did for the Narcan.
So it could be a phone call, email, letter.
It could be a phone call, email, but we have to have a congressperson or a representative, state representative, that will be able to write this bill and let's get it passed. But you have to have, of course, you have to have the participation of the communities and everybody fighting for it. In order to change a law, everybody has to want it, and everybody, we have to have a lot of people that want it in order to get the law passed.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining me today. Those of you watching, if you want to learn more about Perrion Roberts, feel free to visit her website at perrionenterprise.com. We definitely have to have you back to talk about your other ventures, because this luggage, I don't think I'm supposed to show pictures of it yet, so I'm not. But the luggage is on the way. So if you are traveling, this is definitely some luggage that you want to get. Imagine having luggage where you can charge your phone, your laptop. You can sit your phone, your laptop on, and you can actually sit on. You don't have to sit on the airport seats or any of that. You have everything right.
Cup holder.
A cup holder. Is spacious, is big enough for you. All of that is to come. And if you go to her website right now, her book is there, and you can go ahead and make your purchase of Criminal Thinking Reform. It's a workbook for everyone. This is a reset of your mind. So I encourage you to go there, purchase the book, keep up with Perrion at perrionenterprises.com. If you'd like to connect with me and Miss Howard, you can do so at info@Media Room 360. I will see you guys in the morning, so make sure you get up bright and early and catch me on Michael Sean and Takeover Legends. You have no idea what we probably will be talking about tomorrow. We're definitely going to recap this and keep you entertained and keep you laughing. And don't forget, May 20th, it goes down in Fort Worth, Texas. Get your tickets to the Reprom. Go to eventcreate.com/E/Reprom23. I will be in the house. Dwayla will be in the house. Michael Sean will be in the house. Sequisa will be in the house. We hate that Perrion won't be in the house, but on that day,
I'll be in Atlanta.
Showing off her new luggage. So thank you guys again for tuning in. And if you want to continue to support what we have going here at Media Room 360, all you have to do is make a nice little donation. I don't care what amount it is on our Cash App at $ Media Room 360. You have a topic you would like to see us talk about, send us a message on Instagram or email us at info@mediaroom360.com. Ladies, do you have any closing words before we leave?
Contact your people.
Go ahead.
Contact your people. Talk to your kids. You all know, judges, congressmen, attorneys, whoever talk it up so that they can, start to talk it up the chain that they know. The more people who are talking about it, the more exposure it gets, and this can get passed in no time. It just takes a few people.
That's right. I want to say just the same thing that she said. I want everyone to get out. Talk to your children first of all. Find out, stay connected with your kids. And even when you think they're in their room sleeping or whatever, check on your kids before you go to sleep. Or if they're supposed to be asleep, go in there and still check on them, because that's how my friend lost her daughter, but because she didn't go and check on her. Of course, she was grown, but she still could have checked on her. And so check on your kids, talk to your kids, and see where they're at, and stay aware of their friends, their friends, the company that they keep. And also talk to your congressman, like she said, your judges, lawyers, anybody that you know. Start talking to them. Let's get some stuff rolling. Let's get this ball rolling and pass the law for fentanyl strips to be fentanyl test strips to be passed. The law to be passed so that you can purchase those to save some lives. We want to save lives. These kids are dying at a rapid pace, so we want to save their lives.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies, and thank you all for watching. And stay tuned for our next installment.